Hello. We have a well-ordered language for today, lesson for today, starting on page 140 of your books. So please work along with me in your workbook. As usual, I'll do some of the activities with you, and then the rest you'll be able to find the answers to check your work on Google Classroom. On page 140, the first part is to review the 8 parts of speech. Now, we have learned a jingle about the 8 parts of speech, but there is one that we don't know the answer to as far as what that part of speech is. I want you to pause this video and see if you can remember all 8 parts of speech from our jingle that starts with the following tune. The 8 parts of speech are classes of words. Pause the video and then resume once you've written down all 8. Okay, let's go over the answers. The 8 parts of speech are classes of words with the same kind of meaning and use. They are nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, pronouns, conjunctions, and interjections. These are the 8 parts of speech, classes of words with the same kind of meaning and use. Who got them all right? Okay, now I challenge you to do the rest of it on your own, to think of what is a definition for each of these. And our jingles have the definition. For example, a noun is a part of speech. It names a person, place, or thing. A noun names a quality or an idea. Okay? You are going to need to pause that video and then resume for the rest of the lesson. Okay, let's continue with the next section from your workbook. Okay, for the Learn It section, it's going to be really similar to something we did in the last lesson. Now, when you have 2 subjects, you need your verb oftentimes to look different than if you have 1 subject. For example, if we say the bird rested on a tree, if we want it to be plural, the birds, or let's change it to the bird rests on a tree. If we change that subject to plural, the birds rest on a tree branch. We take away the S. So in general, when you have 2 subjects, you don't want an S at the end of your verb. And if you have only 1 subject, you do want an S on the verb. Think of it as opposites attracting. It's kind of like if there is an S at the end of that plural subject, you don't need it with the verb, and then vice versa. So even though these compound subjects don't have the S at the end of it, it's still a plural subject here. Now we'll do the opposite of the last activity, where we start off with 2 subjects. We're going to remove one of the subjects and then make changes to our verb if we need to. In this sentence, it says, Peggy and Heidi eat potato chips on a bench nearby. First, let's find our subjects, Peggy and Heidi. Okay, Peggy and Heidi eat is our predicate verb. If we remove one of the subjects, let's say, and Heidi, we remove, we'd say, Peggy eat potato chips on a bench nearby. How do we change the verb? We're going to add an S to the verb to say eats now. Singular subject, we need an S at the end of that verb. Okay, on this second sentence, it says, does that water bottle or the thermos have a leak? In this one, we've got that subject, water bottle and thermos. Let's remove one of the subjects. Let's remove or the thermos, that whole subject. And now we're left with, does that water bottle have a leak? Here are the verbs, a helping verb and a predicate verb. Now, this is an unusual one because this word, we wouldn't just add an S to. Does that water bottle have a leak? Let's read it as it is and see if we need to make any changes. Does that water bottle have a leak? That's correct already. The reason that it's already correct is that when we had that conjunction or connecting these 2, we already used a verb that agreed with a singular subject because it's saying it's one or the other. Just one of them has that leak. Next, two, I'd like you to do on your own, and then you can check your work. For a lot of these, I would suggest read it out loud and see, does that sound right? And then we'll do some sentence analysis after you're done. Okay, we'll end with some sentence analysis from page 141 of your book. These sentences may seem kind of unusual because we've got some capitalized proper nouns like olive tree and fig tree, serving others. It's because these two sentences come from a fable that is at the end of your book. So it is a fable called, it's called The Trees Choose a King from page 148 of your books, if you'd like to read that to find out where these come from. Okay, so these will be treated as one person, basically. Okay, let's read the first sentence. It says, in the forest, olive tree and fig tree serve others. Now, are there any conjunctions? That's noisy. Yes, and is a conjunction. We put our wings on and to show the conjunction. Are there any prepositional phrases? Yes, in the forest is a prepositional phrase. In is one of our prepositions. Forest is an object of the preposition. The is an adjective. Okay? Those are hard to see, I apologize, so I'm going to bring it a little closer. Next, it says, we'll read the sentence, in the forest, olive tree and fig tree serve others. Now, olive tree is one character, and fig tree is the name of another character. It's all capitalized as one proper noun. Okay, so olive tree and fig tree are the subjects because they are what the sentence is about. This sentence tells us that olive tree and fig tree serve others. So serve is a predicate verb because it shows action. Now we've got one more word to identify, and that's others. Now others is a noun. It's what olive tree and fig tree are serving. It is an objective element because it completes the meaning of an action verb. It is a direct object because it tells us who olive tree and fig tree serve. Okay, and that's that sentence. Let's move on now to sentence 2. Oh, I forgot something. Hopefully you caught my mistake. I forgot to put our arrow to show that our adverbial prepositional phrase is modifying where they serve. Now let's move on to number 2 though. Will vine or thorn bush reign over the trees? Start off by finding any conjunctions. Do you see any? Or is a conjunction. Do you have any prepositional phrases? Will vine or thorn bush reign over the trees? Over is one of our prepositions. It says, will vine or thorn bush reign over what? Trees. Trees is the object of the preposition. The is an adjective. Sing your preposition song in your head if you get stuck on those ones. If you can't tell where a preposition is, sing your song or look in your book at the list of prepositions. Okay, I see a question mark at the end of this sentence, which means what is probably our first word? A helping verb. But we'll get back to that after we're done with our subjects. Let's read it again. It says, will vine or thorn bush reign over the trees? Who or what is the sentence about? Vine and thorn bush. Okay, they're the subjects because they are what the sentence is about. This sentence tells us that vine and thorn bush will reign. Will is our helping verb. Reign is our predicate verb because it shows action. Will just helps the verb. Okay, we're done with all of our words in this sentence, but we also want to draw an arrow to show that over the trees is showing where they reign. It's an adverbial prepositional phrase. Okay, the last part of your lesson is on page 142 for you to analyze 4 more sentences. Some will have prepositional phrases, some won't. Some might have direct objects, others do not. If you're getting confused by a direct object versus an object of the preposition, because they both are nouns or pronouns, check to see if there is a preposition before, okay? And then remember, for a prepositional phrase, we are going to have that whole phrase as somehow modifying the verb answering how, when, or where. Whereas a direct object completes the meaning of an action verb. Olive tree and fig tree serve others. It's not vine and thorn bush rain trees. We need that over for that whole preposition, the whole prepositional phrase to go together. Okay, so you've got 4 sentences to analyze, and then you'll complete the following sentences by adding a verb after the compound subject, and you may add extra things like prepositional phrases and direct objects. And finally, imagine some of our characters are going to a concert with their parents, which sounds so fun. We haven't been able to go to concerts for forever. With that in mind, write a sentence about it using a compound subject. That is all for today. I'll talk to you later. Let me know if you have questions as you work. Bye.